Let's do this. Right, we need to talk about football tournaments because everyone seems to be running these tournaments nowadays, adult tournaments, kids tournaments, corporate tournaments, but what's actually needed to make them a success? Now, for me, it's the 4 Ps, starting off with the obvious one, players. Everyone needs players to run a tournament. Obviously you need teams, but obviously players buy into that as well. So you need players that are buying into your experience as a promotional company, because that's what you're essentially being. You're a promotional company running an event, whether it be 24 teams, 10 teams, 12 teams, how many teams? Like for me, I think 20 odd teams is enough. So let's say 24. I mean, people tend to go up in multiples of 4s or 6s, sometimes 5s. So again, if you have 2 groups of 5s and obviously then quarters, semis and finals. But I think anything over 30 tends to get a little bit messy unless you have enough operational staff, which we'll get into later, to run it and run it smoothly as well. But players is the first thing that you need, of course, to run a successful event or a successful tournament, should I say. Next one, pitches. Now, obviously I'm out here on a nice grass pitch, but there's pitches across the country. So mainly people tend to use is goals, power league, 5s, or some other outdoor venues that you can use as well. But again, make sure that the venues are on point. Now, when I say venues are on point, obviously you've got to look into stuff like goals. Is everyone happy with the goal sizes, especially the keepers? Keepers always want to moan about the goals are too big and all the rest of it now, but that's essential. But for me, if you're running a successful event, you need to make sure that there's other things that you take into consideration, like is there a presentation area afterwards? Is there adequate bar, snack area, food area, or do you have to bring your own stuff in order to i.e. make money or keep your punters happy? Because again, you're going to be there for the whole day. So again, you need to make sure that there's an area where people can grab a drink, whether it be at a goals or power league, or you need to bring your own stuff as well. And then also, you also need to make sure that the playing area is good, because sometimes you might go to some of these venues and they're a bit run down. If you're playing out on a grass pitch like this, again, has it been cut in weeks, months, years sometimes? Is the facilities safe to use? Sometimes it might be a school where the pitch is far away from the toilet area, and then you've got people can't make it all the way to the toilets, so they start peeing outside and all the rest of it. It's little things like that. So again, looking into the pitches is definitely a big thing. And also, does the pitches come with referees as well? Sometimes you might have to source your own referees. Sometimes if you go to like one of these big providers, they might have people on the books to provide as well with the pitches. So little things like that you need to look into to make sure that you're running smoothly. The next one, and this is where all the players' eyes and ears prick up, is the prizes. Now, prizes doesn't always necessarily mean money, but money does help. Money is one of the main playing factors, especially nowadays, for people wanting to play. Long gone are the days when people just want to play for medals and trophies and all the rest of it now. I mean, that helps, but again, people mainly want to be playing for money or other prizes like trips away to Dubai, Morocco, insert fancy place here, or it might be some kits, vouchers, something that people want to access by playing that they can't access themselves, or they can access themselves, but again, it's a nice little incentive. Do you know what I'm saying? It might even be like headphones, it might be an iPad, it might be, I don't know, laptops. You're not taking my laptop, or a phone, or something along those lines. You might partner up with a sponsor that can provide free grip socks and trainers and stuff like that. So, players want to feel like they're taken care of and getting their money's worth. Do you know what I mean? So think about the prizes in order to hook people in to partaking into your tournament. And then the last one, and you're probably thinking this is from my standpoint, but again, it does help, is production. You need to make sure that from start to finish, your event is being covered. Now, it helps in terms of reliving the moments. Again, if you're trying to make this an ongoing tournament, whether it be monthly, yearly, or bi-quarterly, or however long, you need something to show to people, say, okay, this is what happened at the last tournament. So for example, with the Kings of the Pitches tournament that I was a part of, I can now show that to different people and say, look, this is what happened at the last two, this is what might happen at the next one. Like, these are the 2 reigning champions or the 2 previous champions, and this is what you can take on to the next one. So again, production is very, very important. Event organisers, do not skimp out on this. Don't think, I can offer them a little £50 here and that's it, and I can keep the rest. This is as important as everything else. These are important as all the other 3. Okay, I'm not just saying it because this is the role I'm in, but again, social media, it helps so much in terms of bringing in audience and eyeballs and players and teams, your customers, into your products. And if this is going to be an ongoing thing, then invest in production. Don't skimp out, because I'll be honest, I'm not accepting anything less than 700. If you expect me to be standing outside, and 700 is cheap, by the way, I'm just telling you now, 700 is very cheap, because I might even up it. If you want me to stand around for 8 hours at least minimum, and then I've still got to edit those 8 hours. So usually how I do it is like, say for example, if I'm out for 8 hours, I always times it by 2. So again, it's going to be 2 days to edit that down to a 30 or 40 minute after movie. And then the reels and all the rest of it now. And then you want me to stand around for what, less than 700? Come on, man. Make sure you factor that into your prices, okay? Don't be tight, because again, everyone can eat. There's no point the referee's eating, the pitch provider's eating, you're eating as the event organizer, the team that wins it eats, but then the production staff only get a little measly £100 for standing around for 8 hours and then editing for 2 more days afterwards. Get out of here. Make sure you don't skimp out on production. And then the last P, and this is just for Turbo Ams. If you go to a Turbo Ams tournament, you might need 5 Ps, because the last one might be protection. You all see what happened, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But yeah, those are usually like the 4 Ps that is needed to run a successful tournament. 5 Ps if you're Turbo Ams. So I'm going to break this down into the 3 tournaments that ran this year. These are 3 adult tournaments or overage tournaments that a lot of teams in the small-sided team partake in. I'm not going to get into all the tournaments, because otherwise I'll be here all year. Let's start off with BR Ballers, a tournament that's been running for quite a few years now up in the Midlands. Let's run through the 4 Ps. So players, they definitely had the players. They had a lot of the circuit teams. SC Dons were there, Stars were there, B2R were there, No Tech were there, All Nations were there. A lot of the circuit teams were there, so they definitely had the players, along with a lot of ex-pros, or current pros, should I say, that were playing in the tournament, making up the numbers and eventually going on to win the thing. They had the pitches, so again, they played at Goals Leicester. Again, you can't really go wrong with a Goals venue, so again, they definitely had the pitches as well. They had the prizes, so the prize fund was 5k. So again, a nice chunk of money there to be won by the eventual winners. And then they definitely had the productions to a point. Now, I say production to a point because it's covered by your instant replay. So again, it was live on the day. You could watch it there and then when it was happening on YouTube, which is great. You had all the reels before and after, because it's been running for quite a period of time now, so you know what's happened before the event. And again, even after the event, they had some IG reels of the coverage of the event, but they didn't quite have that after movie on YouTube, just to kind of have a nice rundown of the event. But again, overall, if you wanted to watch the games individually, you can watch it on YouTube. So again, they pretty much had all the 4 Ps ticked off there. The next one was the A1 tournament. Again, they had the players, the same circuit teams as mentioned before. Pitches were in Long Lane, I believe, over in South East London. The prize fund was 3k this time. I think it was £300 to enter. So again, 3k was at stake. Didn't quite have the production on point, I'm not gonna lie to you. In terms of afterwards, they partnered up with VO and Clubby. So again, they had reels in terms of what I'm looking for in terms of the after movie, similar to what, you know, I did for them, or what I did on my channel this time last year. They didn't quite have that. So maybe invest into the after movie just to kind of give a rundown of who won the event, because so far I've seen a couple reels, but I've not seen like, okay, Dons were involved, but they're not gonna put out the footage. Filthy Stars were involved, they don't put out footage. B2R were involved, I haven't seen any footage from them as of yet. So again, you're kind of relying on teams that are content creator teams, but you've not made a full-on rundown of yourselves. So again, I would say invest in that side of things there. And then the last one is the Turbo Ams tournament, the second one. Now, the first one already had controversy around it regarding the penalty that didn't get given. So this one had more controversy around penalties once again. But going over the 4 Ps again, players definitely had the same circuit teams and more. Pitches were in Birmingham, so once again, you can't go wrong with a goals pitch. Prizes was a 5-star trip to Dubai this time, so not money this time, but Dubai, which is good. It's a good experience for the eventual winners. Production, again, they had YY Media cover it. So again, he did a live stream, and then obviously it was chopped up into little bits. Even I took out a few bits and posted that as well. So overall, did well with the 4 Ps there. So yeah, these are sort of like the benchmark tournaments of the calendar year, especially when there's no nationals to go to. So again, if you're a team that's looking to make your mark, these are the kind of benchmark tournaments that you go to, especially if you're an overage team that wants to be in amongst the big boys. You want to be mentioned in the top 5 discussions and all the rest of it now. These are like the benchmark 3. Obviously there's other tournaments. JR Twins did a tournament, All Nations did a tournament, but those are the sort of main 3 that all of the circuit teams turn up to. And obviously these were eventually won by Run It Rovers, Club of Syria and Filthy Stars respectively. Now in terms of making improvements to all of these tournaments, not just these 3, but just all of the tournaments across the board, these are the sort of improvements that I would suggest. Now, the first thing, like I said before, is the after movie. What can you show to other people to promote your tournament after it's happened? Because it's all well and good running a tournament, and yeah, it's going to make you quite a decent amount of money, but what can you show afterwards to kind of promote your product or your event going forward? So again, invest in your after movie, preferably on YouTube, but obviously there's other social media platforms available, TikTok, Instagram. You can get great numbers from there in order to push towards your next event, so on and so forth. But I would definitely say invest in an after movie. Like I said, the benchmark for me is around about the £700-800 mark. So again, if you're going to approach me or someone like me to promote the event, I would definitely say in and around that. And that's cheap, by the way, because again, you've got to think about not just the day, but the days afterwards to keep promoting that event in order to bring in more people. So make sure you budget that into your next event. I would always recommend to invest in your products. You know, I've invested in my products. Look, as you're watching now, this is a camera that I spent the best part of 3 or 4 grand on, you know, editing software, the lot. So again, invest in your product. Again, if this is going to be something that you're going to be doing long term, invest in it. If it's a one hit, then even still, you want your best one hit to be basically knocked out the park. I think the best version that I've seen so far, it's got to be the YouTube Cup, and that was done by Corn FC. I think that was even above mine, because again, they managed to grab every single game, albeit they had, I think, 10 teams, but they managed to grab every single game, commentary, made it entertaining and turn it into a movie. Again, I'd say invest in your product. It's worth the investment, trust me. The next one, it annoys me because I've seen it done correctly, but I've seen it done so wrong so many different times. And I've never been to an adult event or adult tournament where it's run on time. So many different tournaments have been run and it's always an hour behind or 2 hours behind or multiple hours behind. And I'm just thinking to myself, if things are blocked up properly in terms of timings, in terms of wait time, in terms of all these little things, it makes the event so much smoother. Do you know what I mean? So these are the things that you need to look into. So I will suggest 2 things. In order to keep your event on time, I'll suggest 2 things. The first thing is a centralized whistle. So no longer will you have pitch 1 running at 15:02 and pitch 2 running at 15:05. You'd have them running at the same time, have a buzzer or an air horn, press the air horn, and they all run at the same time and finish at the same time as well. I don't care if there's 5 minutes added time or someone's kicked the ball over the fence. Look, you all had the same 10 or 12 minutes or however long to score more goals than the other team to win the game. And if someone's kicking the ball over the fence repeatedly, sin bin them, because that's a form of time wasting. And time wasting, you usually get punished for that. So there's ways to get in and around that. So I would suggest centralized whistles. I've seen it work in youth tournaments. It works so well, works to a T. And then also make sure you factor in that time after for transitions as well, because I've got to shout out E&G, fantastic tournaments always. They buffer in timings between games for people to get onto the pitch and people to get off the pitch as well. And as soon as the whistle goes, if you're on or off the pitch, doesn't matter, the game's going ahead, whether you're there or not. And the other team is allowed to score as many goals as they want to until you turn up if you're not even on the pitch. That is it, because again, it's got to run to a time schedule. Not none of this, oh, I was over by the bar, or I was speaking to my mate and I haven't seen him in years. No, you know you're there to play a tournament, you can catch up with your mate afterwards, you can have that sip of that pint after the game. This is what you're here to do. So this is what I would suggest. Centralised whistles work a treat. The next one, and I don't know why more tournaments don't do this, but use this app called Tonify. I'm not even here to promote it as an ad. The gone are the days are the pen and pencils or even the iPads. Unless you've got Tonify on your iPad, use the Tonify app. It works so easy. It does all the work for you. All you got to do is input the scores, input the results, rather than having to write down, oh, okay, this is how many goals for, this is how many goals against. Oh, did I get that right? No. Because then everyone can access it on their phone and that's it, job's a good one. So Tonify app is the way forward. Anybody who's running an event, after they see this video, use the Tonify app. It saves so much time and effort. Please do that, because I don't want to be a videographer there, or I don't want to be a team there who's flipping waiting around like, oh God, who am I playing next? What time? What pitch is it? All you have to just say is go onto the app, type in the name of the tournament, and that's it. Job is done. Tonify app, trust me, it's the way forward. The next one, be as inclusive as possible. And by I mean this is like, try and include as many teams as possible. Obviously, sometimes you might think it's a financial thing, but no, being inclusive works because it helps spread your product as much as possible. So again, rather than just having the circuit teams, of course you want some of the best teams in there, SC Dons, B2R, Stars and all the rest of it now. But if you try and spread your teams as far and as wide as possible, whether you want it to be teams from Birmingham, teams from Manchester, teams from Leicester, teams from Liverpool, that helps spread your product far and wide. And if you can, try and go men and women as well, okay? We've already seen what the women's done with the Euros. They're smashing us in terms of bringing it home. So again, I would try and go men and women's as well. Kids as well. Kids tournaments, kids tournaments are the one. In terms of viral moments, in terms of actual teams turning up as well and invested in the actual tournament as well, kids tournaments is the way forward. I would say probably kids tournaments over adult tournaments. I'll be honest, because I've done both this summer especially, and kids tournaments run so much more smoothly than adults tournaments. So again, try and be as inclusive as possible. Next one, I'm looking at a few man here. Staffing, please overstaff rather than understaff, okay? This goes for making sure that you've got enough referees, making sure that they're not biased referees, making sure that referees are not attached to just one team and one team only. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you have enough refs, time scorers, and just people there for hospitality, food, drinks, helping people, showing people where to go in terms of, you know, this is where the toilets are. This is where you can go to get your results. This is where you can go to just chill out, you know, once you're done. Do you know what I mean? It's people that are on hand to answer your questions, rather than just having the one or two people that are there to run the event and that's it. Unless it's a very, very small boutique tournament, I would say overstaff rather than understaff. Because again, remember, you're providing a service, and the service industry is so important in terms of making sure that everyone has a near enough to 5-star experience as possible, rather than just one that thinks, oh, they just took my money, I played my 3 games and that's it, I'm out. Like, making an experience. Even if you're out of the group stages, is there something else that can entertain people, whether it be watching more games, or is there like a little, I don't know, breakout area, people can go for a drink. Make sure that that staffing role is filled, maybe sometimes even overfilled. So again, everyone has a good experience whilst they're there at your tournament. And then the last one, very, very, very important, rules. Make sure that all teams know the rules. Don't just say tournament rules, because this tournament might be different to this tournament. People might play at goals, and I know goals is different to Power League. Okay, so make sure everyone knows the rules. Rules are very important, especially that everyone knows, because the amount of tournaments that I've seen that have been disrupted or just marred purely based on the rules is a joke, especially this summer. Yeah, we know what we're talking about. So little certain rules like the 2-step penalties, okay? The 2-step penalties, make sure that the referee's right there and has gone through what a 2-step penalty looks like. I know it sounds so stupid, but again, going through what a 2-step penalty looks like is important. Is it a miss or is it a retake? That's important to go through. Also, if a player is time wasting constantly, what does that look like in terms of a sin bin, or are they punishing some sort of way? Are they constantly kicking the ball out of play once they're 1-0 up? Again, I would definitely sin bin them. Again, how long is the sin bin for? Is it 2 minutes, 3 minutes? Last man, oh God, the amount of times I hear last man within small-sided football, but does last man actually mean last man? Does that mean a sin bin, or does that mean a red card? Like, go through the rules of that, because sometimes I don't think last one actually exists. Sometimes I think the referee's actually left his cards at home, genuinely. 2-step free kicks, is the 2 steps genuine 2 steps, or is it just like 2 little mini inches going back from the ball? Like, are we doing that in big 2025? Do we actually need to start doing 2 steps in 2025? The pass back rule, oh gosh, the pass back rule to the keeper. Now, everyone should know this from goals, Power League. It's quite a common rule. If the keeper passes it out, it needs to make 2 passes before it goes back to the keeper. But if it doesn't, what is the punishment? Is it a free kick? Is it an indirect free kick? Or is it a penalty? Because I've seen so many different variations go through these rules. Overboard height, underboard height. Is it 6 foot? How can you judge that? Do you know what I mean? Do you need to bring your own measuring tape to make sure it's 6 foot? The 6-second rules with the keeper. Is there someone there with a stopwatch actually timing it? Because sometimes I can see a keeper has an eternity with it. And also, if the keeper has the ball at their feet, that for me is part of the 6-second rule. It's not just in their arms, because in small-sided football, nobody's allowed inside the D. Pause. So you're not allowed inside the D. So again, that should count towards the 6-second rule, because no one can go and grab it, can they? So that should count as a 6-second rule. Is it a slide or a slip? Amount of times, it's a slip. Mate, it's not rain today. He's not slipped over. It's a slide tackle. If he's gone to floor, if he's down on one knee, if he's playing on the floor, it's a slide, or counts towards that slide. They're playing on the floor, it's not allowed. All these different rules there. If you're a tournament organizer, write this down, present it to all of the teams, all the team captains. So again, they are aware of it. And if it happens on their watch, down to them. Tournaments are great. They're a great way to embrace the community, especially within this small-sided scene. Getting all these teams together, this is the only way to kind of legit see of who's the better team out of all of this small-sided team. The ones that come out on top, or there or thereabouts in the semi-finals and the finals. You know, it's a great way to make money for not only the teams, but obviously the organisers as well. But try not to see it as just a money flip. You've got to see it as an experience. Remember, it's your brand on the line, so make sure it's as best as it can be. Now, I think I covered everything. But again, if there's anything I missed, please let me know in the comment section below. I know I've been rambling for a fair amount of time now, but thank you for watching. If you've got this far, please make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a bit.